A new era of energy coming. Hi, I'm Chris Casteel in the Washington Bureau of the Oklahoman, and I'm here with longtime Oklahoma City oilman Robert Hefner. Thank you so much for coming in. Mr. Hefner, you've just released a very thoughtful book making a forceful argument that the age of petroleum and coal are on their way out and that we need to transition to energy gases in the future. And tell me more about that and what you think the timeline for that kind of transition is and why it's necessary.
Well, let me say first that I'm part of the transition because my father and grandfather were oilmen, and when I was at the University of Oklahoma, I really became interested in natural gas, and I guess you could call me a gas man ever since.
I didn't mean to refer to you.
No one ever says that, but anyway. Coal is a 19th century technology, and oil is a 20th century technology. And we can't sustain the way we live with the high volumes of coal and oil that we're using today, so we must transition away from them. Coal and oil are 80% of our CO2 problems. It's even more of our pollution. And as I see it, the long-term history of energy is that we've gone from unsustainable, dirty, high-carbon solids through what history will record is a rather brief liquid transition, principally oil, of course, to a future of what I call energy gases. And the bridge fuel will be natural gas, along with sister fuels, wind and solar, later on hydrogen, and maybe eventually hydrogen fusion.
Now you've been in Washington this week, holding a series of meetings. What is the message that you've been bringing? Who you've been bringing it to up here?
Well, John Podesta hosted quite a group of people. President Clinton stayed the whole time. Senator Reid the whole time. Al Gore the whole time. We had Stephen Chu, the Energy Secretary, there. And although I wasn't a presenter at that, I was able to speak with all of them. And then I presented the next day at John Podesta's Center for American Progress. My message is this, that the United States, just like Oklahoma, is awash in natural gas. There's a lot left. We're not running out of natural gas. We can fuel...
And a lot of new discoveries.
Lots of new discoveries, and we can fuel the United States for probably another 100 years at least with the natural gas supplies we have. And unfortunately, they're overlooked natural gas is often overlooked as a clean transitional fuel. At that meeting I was talking about, everybody said, well, we want to go electric vehicles, we need wind and solar. Yes, I agree. But in order to do that, we have to build a new, they were calling it like the interstate highway system, a new electric grid.
Sure.
And there's a lot of problems getting from here to there. The local electric grids are usually not in that great a shape, brownouts and things. There's state versus federal regulatory laws. As Governor Pataki said, not in my backyard. People don't like wires being built over them. But that's not true for natural gas. The right laws are in place. We have 2.2 million miles of a natural gas pipeline grid, and you know what it connects? 63 million American homes. The largest fleet of vehicles in America come back once a day to those homes. That's the 100 or 120 million automobiles that reside at those homes where there's already natural gas, and they could refuel with a little appliance at night. Also,
but I guess Honda's making already.
Yeah, you're right. Honda's the only one right now. Although the big three here in America make them in Europe. All they'd have to do is bring them back. But the importance, if we really want to do something big for the environment, and if we really want to get off imports of oil, the big first step would be, let's retrofit those 130 million automobiles to natural gas, to CNG. We've invested $3.5–4 trillion in those vehicles. And with home prices down and the economy terrible, these people want to use their cars. They're good. So just convert them off of gasoline and put a natural gas fuel tank in them. It's easy to do. It only costs about a couple of $1,000s, another 1,500 maybe, if they're mass produced, to have a refueling station at home. And already on that grid are most of the 120,000 gasoline stations in metropolitan areas,
right,
and a lot of them in rural areas, particularly in the states of the mid-continent America.
Now, I'm assuming that a proposal like this would need some government help, either through tax credits or even direct aid.
It probably would. It probably need some, to really make it effective, some sort of government loan program.
What kind of, are you optimistic that the Obama administration is going to be receptive to this? I mean, you said it's kind of overlooked that natural gas is a clean fuel, but is there some resistance, do you think, among some, because to extract it, you still obviously have to drill for it, either in the U.S. or in the outer continental shelf. Is there some resistance to natural gas because of that, do you think, or because they think it's too high priced?
No, not too high priced. Even the higher prices that we need to bring it out of the ground, just say it's $8, would be under $50 equivalent oil, and we're using American natural gas. Yes, there's some resistance to all the drilling. We were in Senator Bingham's office discussing with he and his...
He's the chairman of the Senate Energy Committee.
Right, just this morning, and they were talking about the problems with drilling in New Mexico and in some of the Rocky Mountains and so forth. And yes, probably we've over-drilled it a little bit, but really horizontal, where you have one location and you reach out to in different directions, is only just now coming into its real existence. And so with horizontal technology now, we can eliminate about 3 out of 4 surface locations. Yeah, the footprint reduces a lot.
Right.
So I think that, yes, there'll be some resistance, but what the rural states where most of this is going on learn soon is it's such a boost to the economy. It's a huge boost to the economy. I saw an article the other day, and it showed that just to develop the shale natural gas in this country would take right at $800 billion. And there's a 3-to-1 multiplier in the local economy for those expenditures. So it would be an enormous boost to the economy.
Well, you've got a couple of colleagues that have been up here making the same pitch about natural gas, obviously T. Boone Pickens and Aubrey McClendon. So it's not like Congress hasn't heard it, I guess. It just remains to be seen whether they're going to be willing to.
And Boone's a bit timid with that. He's talking about, of course, the 18-wheelers, and that's easy, sure, that can be done. But if we really want to make a difference about not importing so much oil and really cleaning up the environment, then we really need to go for it. If you did what I recommend, convert half the U.S. fleet, retrofit it to natural gas, that'd cost about $600 billion. That's a big number. Today it's not quite so big with the numbers we're kicking around. But no, but this one pays out. We quit sending money to foreign oil producers. And in about 5 years, the whole thing's paid out, and we save trillions into the future. And we put, who would do the retrofitting? Well, half of the automobile industry workers work for the dealerships. And it'd be the dealers that did the retrofitting. Keep those people working. It would be the dealers that put the home fill stations in. Keep those people with their jobs. It would create hundreds of thousands of new jobs in the natural gas development industry. It would create hundreds of billions of annual capital expenditures by the industry to develop the natural gas. It would raise the income to lots of farmers and landowners by about $10 billion a year, right when they need it. It'd be a great lift to the economy. It would pay for itself many, 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 many times over. Now, the stimuluses we're doing right now and the bailing out of banks and things, I doubt that they'll pay for themselves, but this certainly will.
Well, Mr. Hefner, it's a very interesting book, and can you tell everybody where they can get it?
You can get the Get at the-get.com. It's available there. There's not too many copies in this edition. This will probably be the only color edition, so you ought to get the Get now.
Mr. Hefner, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for being here.
And look for more on this in the Oklahoman.